Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. And we got a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask questions, 323-870-3857. And this Father's Day, happy Father's Day to everybody, first and foremost. And let's get started here. Amazon pay-per-view, Beeb. Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. Tank Davis knocks out Frank Martin in the 8th after a slow start. Frank Martin came out, did very well, I thought, for the first half. I actually had him ahead at the time of the KO. I think I had it 4-3 for Martin. He was able to frustrate Tank with his movement, his jab. Martin's got really good footwork, man. But the problem is, man, Tank, that pressure Tank was putting on him, it was just, I mean, he was in his face constantly. And that's how I knew Martin didn't have anything behind him. Didn't have anything behind that jab, didn't have anything behind anything, man, because I tell you what, Tank was walking right through his shots. And the further the fight went, you could see Tank, corner, he would stay in the corner, talking about Martin here. Martin would stay in the corner. He would start to almost take punches, just sit there and let him, but the movement really slowed down. And I think, what did the trick for Tank was those body shots. I think those body shots by Tank really wore him down. And not to mention, when you fight the entire fight going back in that much movement like Martin did, you're going to slow down. It's just, you're going to get tired. You can't fight the fight at that pace,
He looked very tight at the weigh-in, dry. And I wouldn't be too surprised if he doesn't go up to 140 pretty soon, because it just looked like
he's a big guy.
Yeah, he was irritable and stuff. Like after the weigh-in, you can just see like he was kind of slurring his words a little bit. He just didn't look right at the weigh-in. And it's crazy too, because you know how they do those ceremonial weigh-ins on the morning, and they do the ceremonial weigh-ins in the afternoon, and they do the real weigh-ins in the morning. I guess the whole card weighed in the morning, but that Tank Martin weigh-in was not ceremonial. That was actually official weigh-in, and they did that late in the afternoon, like at 3:00. So they kind of knew what was going on with Martin. They knew that. I don't know what they knew. Yeah. Yeah, they knew he was tight at the weight, so they wanted to give him as little time to rehydrate as possible.
Right.
So they went against the normal protocol of doing the real weigh-in during the morning and then doing the ceremonial weigh-in. Like, so everyone else had the ceremonial.
Funny the games they play, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is. I mean,
it's like, how much of an edge does this guy really need? He's a great fighter. He's a great fighter as it is. Why does he have to try to over leverage himself in every fight when it comes to these games?
Yeah, you're like, come on, man. The end came in the 8th, and looked like Tank hit him with an uppercut, caught him on the ropes with an uppercut, and then Martin dropped his guard because he was stunned, and man, that left hand hit him flush. Tank dropped a left hand on him flush, and I looked at him when he went down. I said, he ain't getting back up. Ain't no way.
And the smart thing Tank did in this fight, and he does it in a lot of his fights, because we say that he lets these guys get comfortable, gives them the false sense of security, basically is setting this trap that he's not going to spring on you right away, but the trap is ongoing, round after round, like allows you to get your punches off, but he's coming forward, so he's forcing you to have to move back and then have to come forward to reset. So as you said, there was a lot of excessive movement from Martin, because he had to move, because Tank was walking him back. But while Tank was walking him back, wasn't really throwing a lot of punches, not a lot of punches with a lot of consequence, right? And he was catching a lot of shots on his gloves. So he's making you tired by making you move a lot, and also by making you throw a lot of punches at the same time. So it's just a trap that he sets that all these fighters just seem to fall right into it. and it's going to take someone special to really break Tank down, because the thing with Tank also is his defense is very underrated. You know,
Very good. Yeah.
He's a compact target, you know, really gets in that crouch, changes levels and gets low. So it's really hard to hit this guy clean. And he comes forward with that high guard and he's picking shots off. And while he's picking, sort of like what David Benavidez does, they both walk forward with that high guard, put that constant pressure on you, but they're catching shots. And while they're catching shots, as they're moving forward, they're also throwing shots, countering off the catch and shoot while moving forward. A lot of fighters don't do that. They don't have that ability to do that. And they don't have that conditioning and just the overall skill set to be able to do that. And both these two guys have that one thing in common where they can do that, walk you down, catch and shoot, and just keep you off balance, forcing you to have to reset your feet. Right. And Frank Martin was just using a lot of energy. His jab was pretty good. He did well when he had space.
His footwork really impressed me.
Yeah, he did well when he had the space, but Tank wasn't allowing him to have that space consistently. He was closing down the gap and really forcing him to have to slide back to give himself enough space to fully extend on that left hand and that jab like he wanted to.
Yeah, that was the thing, man. I think that, like I said, that pressure just got to him.
Yes.
It just got to him. Aaron Daly, thank you so much. He said, let's get it over and done with, paying my debts. I remember what did we bet on?
I think the Gvozdyk fight. I think he was picking
that's
Gvozdyk.
Right. He picked Gvozdyk. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A lot of it's crazy. Here, we're going to get into that later.
No, nobody picked Gvozdyk today. But
here's the thing. Like, a lot of people crapping on that performance from David Benavidez, but this was the one fight that they thought was a potential upset.
Yeah. Well, right. That was a potential upset, and then you're mad because it didn't,
I mean, which one is it? Like, you anticipated it was going to be a tough fight. I had him winning 9-3. It was a 10-2, 9-3 fight, in my opinion. Possibly 8-4 if you want to be a little generous. I didn't think the fight was close, but
no,
I don't know.
What's next? I mean, it sounds like Lomachenko might be next for Tank.
Yeah. There's nobody else but Lomachenko. You got
there's nobody there, right?
Well, who else are going to fight? I mean, you could fight Shakur, but again, it's not as big of a fight as Lomachenko would be, and obviously would not be as entertaining. I think Lomachenko versus Tank would be an outstanding fight because Lomachenko would bring the volume, but he'd also bring the movement,
bring power.
Yeah, he brings a little bit of snap to the shots too. Yeah. Lomachenko's not a one-punch knockout guy, but he hits hard enough to get your attention.
Oh yeah,
he changes up the punch selection. It goes to the body. He can fight on the inside. He can fight in the mid-range and does pretty good on the outside, given the fact that his arms aren't the longest. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but he does have a good jab, and he knows how to really work his way on the inside. He can step around you. He can outmaneuver you. So it's going to be interesting to see Tank trying to come forward on Lomachenko, but Lomachenko isn't just going to be going straight back. He's going to be constantly circling you, and he's not going to allow you to push him straight back. He's going to take that half step back and slide around you. And so Tank is going to always have to try to front Lomachenko in that fight. So it's going to be a lot of challenges for Tank in that fight. And obviously it's going to be challenges for Lomachenko because one punch can turn the lights out with Tank. So he's going to have to be – so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to get brave in the pocket like he did with Devin Haney and like he did with Kambosos. He spent a little bit more time in the pocket than normal in those two fights and didn't move as much. He's not going to be able, I think, to do that with Tank because there's more risk if he just plants his feet in there and runs the risk of getting caught with something up and underneath because that uppercut is hard to see, man. It's a blind shot, and Tank camouflages that shot very, very well. Very, very well.
I tell you, those guys like Tank who put the pressure on you, and then there's guys like, say, Bernard Hopkins or like a Pernell Whittaker who, even if you're a high volume guy, when you fight those type of guys, there's just something about they shut you down. Their defense shuts you down.
Yeah.
And a big reason for that is because they have a pretty good offense too. Is when they got a good counter game and they got something to keep it off of you. Martin didn't have that last night.
No.
He didn't have that. I mean, he hit Tank flush a couple of times and Tank didn't move.
Yeah.
And Loma has that.
Yeah.
Loma's got the ability to get his respect. You know what I mean? And make him think twice. So, yeah, man, I think that's, to me, that's the biggest difference in that fight. I know Loma's on the dark side of his career. However, he's still, like I said, I thought he beat Devin Haney. So,
Yeah, Loma showed in that Kambosos fight that he still has it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, I mean, he's not what he was, but he's fighting better guys too.
Yeah, he's fighting better guys.
Some people were talking about Shakur and everything like that. Shakur, I believe Shakur goes the same way Frank Martin, because I don't think Shakur's got a punch.
Yeah,
I don't think Shakur is going to have anything to keep Tank off him.
You're not going to be able to move the entire fight with Tank. You're going to have to plant your feet, hold your feet, and you're going to have to, at some point, get Tank's respect. I don't think Shakur Stevenson can do that.
No.
And once again, Tank is quicker, not only with his hands, but with his feet. And it's going to be hard for Shakur Stevenson, just like it was hard with in the Dos Santos fight. Dos Santos had quick feet, and he was able to cut the ring off and keep up with Shakur. The only difference, as I said before, is that he just couldn't match him with the hand speed. Tank's going to be able to match him with the foot speed and the hand speed, and not only that, it's an explosive type speed, right?
And Shakur doesn't sit down on his punches.
No, he doesn't.
That's the other thing. I mean, he's going to have to sit down on punches in order to get Tank's respect. But I don't see that happening. I really don't.
Sugar Ray Leonard once said, you can only move for so long in a fight, and at some point you have to hold your ground.
Yeah.
And when that happens with Shakur, I just don't think he has enough. He's not even turning shots over. He's like we said before, he's like playing tag, throwing those get off me punches. That's not going to be enough.
Davis. It reminds me a lot of a Howard Davis.
Yeah, Howard Davis Jr. Yeah,
kind of,
Yeah, that's correct.
And like a point fighter. And that's not gonna help you here.
Yeah, it's not gonna be enough.
No. So hopefully Loma's next. Devin Haney. I still would like to see him and Devin Haney.
Yeah.
I think that's a good fight.
Listen, people can say what they want about the Ryan Garcia fight. I had the fight even in rounds, but the knockdowns made the difference. Yeah. Now again, the knockdowns happen, so obviously we can't discount those knockdowns, but we'll see if Devin Haney can get up and continue if those shots are being landed by Tank.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's right. That is right. Let's talk about the undercard here. The co-main here, David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvozdyk. Benavidez cruised to a unanimous decision here, 116, 112, 117, 111, and 119, 109. Benavidez didn't really have any real issues against Gvozdyk here.
No.
After the fight, it was revealed that Benavidez was actually injured coming into the fight. He said he suffered a bad cut over his left eye a couple of weeks before and had a torn tendon in his hand in training camp. And so that may have, but it's just like we said, I didn't see anything that Gvozdyk was going to bring here to beat Benavidez. And he didn't. I mean, it was a one-sided fight. He offered up maybe a little bit more resistance than some people thought.
He did well at times with his jab, but once again, another guy. It's funny because a lot of these fights had a lot of similarities this weekend. You had one guy on one side who was the guy who wanted to fight at distance, but the opponent collapsed the pocket on him and didn't allow that person to fight at distance. And once the distance was taken away, the person who likes to fight on the outside, they were at a loss because they could not deal with the infighting. And there was like 3 fights this weekend where that happened. And it was like you had the inside guy applying the pressure, cutting down the distance and collapsing the pocket, and not giving the other guy who likes to fight on the outside the room to fight. 3 fights like that. And this was another one. Gvozdyk needs that space to get that jab going and get full extension on that right hand. He doesn't like to mix it up on the inside. And when David Benavidez got in his chest, you could see how David Benavidez was just flowing with those combinations, and he was throwing that short looping right hand, and Gvozdyk had a hard time dealing with that. And also David Benavidez was throwing a lot of body shots as well. So I do think early on, Gvozdyk was landing the jab, but he really wasn't stepping in with the jab with authority. I talked with D-Style about this, and ever since that Adonis Stevenson fight where he put Adonis Stevenson in the coma. I think he's kind of lacked a little bit of that killer instinct. And then you couple that with the fact that Beterbiev, took his soul in that fight.
Yeah.
Because he was boxing well in that fight too, but he just wasn't really stepping in hard with that right hand, stepping in hard with that jab. And Beterbiev was able to walk through him. Even though he was losing rounds, Beterbiev, he was still coming forward and putting on that pressure. And you knew it was only a matter of time before that pressure was going to force him to succumb and break down. And just like in that fight, it kind of happened here, but David Benavidez didn't have that power like Beterbiev to fully get him out of there. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Canelo hasn't scored a knockout in over 5 fights, right? So it's harder when the opposition gets better. It's harder to knock everybody out. So we'll see. There's a lot of people are saying that they're disappointed in David Benavidez because he didn't get the knockout. Oh, Gvozdyk was 37, but Gvozdyk can still fight.
He can still fight a little bit.
And this was supposedly supposed to be an upset. Everyone was like, "Oh, well, if there's going to be an upset this weekend, I think it's going to be Gvozdyk over David." And everyone was like, "This could be a potential banana skin for David Benavidez," and it was anything but that. I scored the fight 9-3. I had it 117 and 111. I thought it was a clear win for David Benavidez. And just like Canelo versus Jaime Munguia didn't get knocked out, right? And Canelo couldn't get him out of there. I had that fight 115 and 113. So again, if people are looking at this fight saying, "Oh, well, if he can't get Gvozdyk out of there, how's he going to beat Canelo?" Well, we could just flip that right back at you and say, well, if Canelo couldn't get Munguia out of there, how's he going to get David Benavidez out of there?
Right.
I mean, David Benavidez, I thought, had a really good defense last night. I mean, as he was coming forward, he was slipping shots. He was getting up on underneath shots. As he normally does, he was parrying shots. He really didn't get hit with that many shots.
Clear win. I don't know what anybody's talking about. El Warrior 1 says, I've seen respectable channels claiming Benavidez lost. No way.
Well,
anybody
I heard one
could have scored that fight for Gvozdyk.
One person on Twitter said Benavidez lost. And all you have to do is check. I don't want to mention
that had
name.
to be a troll.
I don't want to mention his name. He's actually a friend of mine, so I don't want to put him on blast. But
wait. Okay, wait. Well, number one, it's out in the Twitter sphere, so everybody knows now. But you actually have somebody who scored the fight for Gvozdyk.
Correct.
Get out of here. Who?
And then if you look in the comments,
put him on blast.
No, I can't put him on blast.
Come on, man. He's on Twitter. Come on, we could just go find him. Just save us the time.
I'll tell you after the show. I don't want to put him on blast on here
right now. Come on. Serve him up.
I'm not going to allow you to peer pressure me into this.
Come on. He's already out there. He's already out
there. Bully me
every
week. I'm not gonna knuckle under this time.
Come on. Was it somebody we both know?
Yeah, you know. Well, you may know him now because he's on the round table sometimes. I will
stop it. No, come on.
I'm not going to tell you who it is. But one person that I know.
Is he on the show on a regular basis on the round table?
He's been on about 5 or 6 times. Yeah, he's on a regular. I would say yes. I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Come on, man.
Move on.
Come on. He had the fight scored the other way.
And all you had to do was read the comments, and everyone was like, are you serious? Are you serious? Listen, the reason why I didn't think the fight was close was because... It
wasn't Montero, was it?
No.
All right.
No. The reason why... Oh, Montero had it a draw?
That's what he says. I don't know. There's no way. I don't want to...
I know why these people scored the fight the way they did. And it's like David Benavidez, I hate to say this, is guilty by association. If these guys hate PBC, so any PBC fighter, they're just gonna there's a bias against PBC fighters. They don't like David Benavidez because David Benavidez is a PBC fighter, and most of these guys are Canelo fans. So, I'm sorry. I don't want to stir the pot here.
That's why we're here. Stir away.
I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, come on.
Come on, it's Father's Day. Give me a break.
It's Father's Day.
Give me some slack.
So what's next for Benavidez? Because he said he wants to go back down to 168.
Well,
oh, what? The only reason he's going to go down to 168 is to fight Canelo.
Here's the thing now.
And he's not going to be ready in September.
Here's the thing. They're saying 2 months. He needs to rest for 2 months to get those injuries healed up, according to his doctor, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Canelo openly said, so it's been put out there that he does not want to fight Terrence Crawford. So if it's not Terrence Crawford,
we haven't heard that from any real source, by the way.
That's correct, but he has said it before.
He has.
Yeah.
He has.
Right? So that's number one. I'm not 100% sure he's overly enthusiastic about fighting Terrence Crawford, right? But here's a boss move he can do right now. Because David Benavidez has been talking.
Take it or leave it in September.
There you go. See? That's the thing. Take her. What did he do to Kovalev? Remember Kovalev had that fight with Anthony Yard, and then what do you have to fight him 3 months later? You really want this fight,
and then have it at Canelo weight, have it at like a 165 or something like that. Make him cut a little bit more.
He'll let him weigh 168. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. He already knows he just fought. He already knows he's coming off injuries. You're talking all that shit. You really want to fight me? I was telling Ring IQ this the other day. I was in one of his Twitter spaces. I said this. I said, you watch. Canelo's is gonna say, because he just fought at 175. So now you gotta come right down to 168. Short period of time, right? Quick turnaround. Now you got injuries. Talking all that shit. You really want the fight? Fight me in September. And then if he says, "Oh, I'm injured" or whatever, oh, I thought you wanted to fight. Oh, whatever. I fought John Ryder with an injured wrist, so why can't you fight me? You know what I mean? So here's the thing. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think Canelo versus Benavidez. Now, in an ideal world, it would be good if that fight happened in December, because then Benavidez could heal up. He'd get the 2 months rest, and he can enter training camp, in October, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see. If I'm Canelo, I'm pulling that boss move. I'm saying, you want to fight me? Fight me in September.
It's not a bad move. It's not a bad move. Do you think now? Okay, so you saw him at 175 yesterday. He was injured. I still think that I do think that even with the injury yesterday, he's still, with him and Bivol or him and Better Beef, I think they're good fights.
Yeah.
Who wins? I don't know now. You know what I mean? But they are definitely going to be good fights if they get it together.
I agree.
But who do you think is next logically? I mean, if the Canelo fight falls through, which we suspect it will, then what?
If the Canelo fight falls through, I think he'll fight the winner of Better Be versus Bivol.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think he likes his chances against either guy.
I like his chances against either guy.
A lot of people think that Better Beef would kill him, but Better Beef slowing down a little bit.
He's almost 40.
Yeah, and he's been coming off of a lot of injuries lately. And I don't know, Bivol, I think Bivol will have problems with that pressure.
Yeah. Boxing Addict 420 says these two guys are idiots. Oh man, why'd you have to go and say that for?
Well, you're an even bigger idiot. Only an idiot would watch two idiots.
Yeah. What about that? Yeah, what about that? Now what? Yeah, that was pretty good, huh? All right. So my losing streak starts with the next fight. Gary Antoine Russell, who I bet on, and Albert Puello. Puello upsets Gary Russell 115-112, 114-113, and 118-109. I don't know what that judge was watching, but listen, man, it was close. It was a good close fight. It went to Puello. Gary Russell didn't do much here. I mean, it was a good fight. It was competitive, but if he wanted to win that fight, he should have done a little bit more, I think. So, yeah. Carlos Adames versus Terrell Gausha. Adames whitewashed him, whitewashed Terrell Gausha. Gausha, it's over for him. right? It's pretty much over for him.
Just doesn't throw enough punches, and even the punches that he throws, it's almost like he's going through the motions in there. It's almost like, and I don't want to disparage any fighter, but he goes into these fights as if he's a paid sparring partner. He's not like, this was a fight where he just was in there and he was just happy to be there. Nothing was being thrown with any intent. And I just was very disappointed in both guys. And here's the thing, like Teddy Atlas says, you know, it's like a guy when he was yelling at Michael Moore when Michael Moore was fighting Ben Holyfield. He's like, yeah, you know, he's not doing anything, and you know, you're just doing enough, to, you know, just so he'll leave you alone. Right. And that's what this was. You're doing just enough so this guy will leave you alone.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much. Can you imagine if Teddy Atlas was in the corner of either one of those guys yesterday? They would have won. They would have won.
And here's the thing too, and I don't want to be too hard on Carlos Adames, but this was his coming out party, man. This was his coming out party. This was his first fight as being the full WBC champion, because he was the interim champion for like 7 years because of the fucking idiot move that Mauricio Suleiman did by not stripping Jamal, right? So now it's like this was your time to shine, and you're on the big stage and you didn't do it. I don't know, Drew.
Philly Drew, thank you so much. Easy work for Bivol.
You picked Gvozdyk to win. You picked Gvozdyk to win. I don't know.
He did pick Gvozdyk to win, didn't he?
Yeah, pick Gvozdyk to win.
We had quite a few people picking Gvozdyk to win. That was like, if there was an upset, that was the upset. That was the upset to take.
I don't think he looked. I think it was a solid performance. I didn't think he looked bad. Like I said, I thought he looked good. I mean, I thought he looked good. He looked just like David Benavidez always looks. I think he slowed down a little bit towards the end, but
you know, again, you know, if of all the upsets, this was the upset that most people were picking. Okay, out of Upset Saturday, this was the one that most people were picking, and it wasn't an upset even close. It wasn't close at all. The fight was not close.
No, I mean, like Gvozdyk didn't win any rounds until like the second half. Really.
Canelo's World, thank you so much. He says, Eric, Canelo beats your boy David and Crawford. So Canelo beats David Benavidez and Terrence Crawford. Hey, let's find out, man.
Well,
I'm with you, man.
Canelo fights, if Canelo ends up fighting Berlanga next, then
come on. Yeah, I mean, even Canelo's World, all right, even you. If Canelo said Canelo fights Berlanga, which honestly, I suspect he will. Come on, you can't say, like, come on. You got to fight somebody. Nobody can defend that fight.
You got to go on Twitter. You got to go on Twitter and just see those Canelo fans on Twitter defending this guy, no matter what he does.
The boxing kangaroo has been dropping us lines ever since he got on today. I think Paro was the upset, but I am biased. That was the upset of the night there.
That was the best fight of the weekend, too.
Paul, that was and congratulations to Australia. Fight. You guys got another champion over there because he did a job. And I lost money on that one, too. All right, so my second part of my losing streak here. Subriel Matias. This is on DAZN. Subriel Matias versus Liam Paro. Liam Paro upsets Subriel Matias in his hometown, Beeb. He's fighting in his showcase in his hometown. Help me out with that. A showcase in your hometown, and you fumble the ball.
Yeah.
You fumble it in front of all of your people. Fumbled the ball. 115, 112 choice, and 116, 111 for Paro. Paro boxed well, remains unbeaten. This was a shocker. Subriel was favored to win this big. Philly Drew, thank you so much. He said he was gassed out after 4 rounds. Was he talking about Matias?
I think he was talking about Matias or Benavidez?
Maybe Benavidez. I don't think he was gassed after 4 rounds.
I think he was talking about Benavidez.
Yeah. There you go. Jerry says, you're always wrong. What's new?
Everyone was wrong this weekend. There was 3 upsets.
Everybody, except Jerry. I'm sure Jerry and Corey had all the picks down.
No one was picking Paro to win.
Nobody, except the Australian guy in here, the boxing kangaroo. That's the only guy who picked Paro to win.
Not many people were picking Chris Billam-Smith to win.
Nobody was picking Chris
No one was
Billam-Smith to
picking
win.
No one picked Tyrone Davis to win against Elijah.
Insane.
3 upsets.
Babe, so is Liam Paro that good?
I think he is.
Or is Cibriel Matias just not up to he's just got a big punch and that's it?
The thing about Matias is he's not the quickest guy in his feet, right? He's a good pressure fighter. He's a strong guy. He's heavy-handed, right? But he's not like an explosive guy. He's more of a clubber type puncher. But his claim to fame is just wearing guys. He's almost like sort of like Antonio Margarito in some respects, where he just comes forward. He doesn't catch shots as flush as Antonio Margarito. He picks shots off pretty well. He's got a high guard, and he tucks his chin pretty tight. So he's got a pretty tight defensive construct. But he's not the hardest guy in the world to hit. He's not the quickest guy in his feet. But he just beats guys by breaking them down. He's a good inside fighter. He's a good body puncher. But it seemed like the plan was I'm going to tire Paro out, and eventually he's going to slow down. But guess what? The guy never slowed down. He paced himself. He paced himself perfectly. He used a lot of subtle movement, right? He moved just enough to get in and out, step around, turn Matias, but he wasn't running around the ring using excessive energy and getting himself tired. Right. And he was holding his own up close. He was going to the body very well. He was landing short uppercuts and short hooks on the inside. And that was the thing. The thing was, would he be able to hold his own up close? And he certainly was able to do so. We knew at a distance that was his game, to be able to box on the outside, stick and move, pot shot from the outside. But the big question was, what happens when he stops sticking and moving and he holds his feet and meets Matias in the center of that ring and fights him at close range? Will he be able to stand up to the fire? Will he be able to handle that heat in the kitchen? And he most certainly was able to do that. And he was actually, you could see, making Matias tired, right? Matias was getting a little bit frustrated in there because he was having to deal with a lot of those body shots up close. And his eye was getting swelled up in there. Paro's not the hardest puncher in the world, but I'll tell you this: you hit a guy enough times with shots, he's going to feel it.
You can't stand there. Listen, man, you can't stand there and get hit flush.
Correct.
And,
There's going to be a cumulative effect of getting hit, with flush shots, even if you're not the biggest puncher in the world.
Right. I agree. Let's move over to Peacock, where my losing streak continued. Chris Billam-Smith versus Richard Riakporhe. On the advice of Mr. Beeb over here, I put some money on Richard Riakporhe. And, of course, that was wrong, too. Riakporhe loses, gets upset by Richard. Chris Billam-Smith upsets Richard Riakporhe 116-111 and 115-112 twice. Beeb, how do we get this one wrong? This was in Riakporhe's hometown, right?
Yeah, Richard Riakporhe is a monstrous puncher.
He looked great last night.
A telephone full of a jab.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Where was all that yesterday?
Well, after the first round, I was like, okay, this looks good for Riakporhe. I mean, he was landing some stiff, hard jabs. They actually started busting up the nose and mouth of Chris Billam-Smith. But Chris Billam-Smith did something great. Started timing the jab, catching it, slipping it on the way in, throwing that little feint, and he got on the inside. And as soon as he got close, Richard Riakporhe just gave him the bear hug. He did not want to fight him on the inside at all. And it's just weird, too, because I don't want to be overly assuming here, but and it was even mentioned during the broadcast, it was almost like Richard Riakporhe was being overly conservative because he was concerned about maybe getting tired in this fight. I think he had a low output in this fight. I don't know if he had problems making weight. I don't know what it was, but he was overly conservative with his output in this fight. And it looked to me like he was possibly trying to conserve his energy. And he was, he resorted to throwing like one shot at a time. and he was loading up with that one shot. And I think it was the 9th round. He actually hurt Chris Billam-Smith, but it was a little too late. And Billam-Smith recovered, and he got back up on the horse, and he was just outworking him on the inside, and he was landing some hellacious body shots himself on the inside, Chris Billam-Smith, and he was really throwing a variety of shots. And he was fighting very smart boxing, very well himself, and he was throwing feints, he was throwing off-speed jabs, and he just said to himself, I am not going to allow this guy to catch me at the end of those long, snappy power shots from the outside, because that's where I'm at a loss here. So I have to fight this fight in the phone booth, and he's going to have to fight me there. And if he can't beat me in the phone booth, then I'm just going to outwork this guy. Right. Yep. And Riakporhe this was almost like Lennox Lewis, like when he was fighting Henry Akinwande, and Henry Akinwande just kept grabbing him. I thought the ref was going to take a point away for holding from Riakporhe, because that's all he would do. Yeah. As soon as Billam-Smith got close, he would just grab him and hold on for dear life, not even trying to punch with the free hand, not even trying to work on the inside. While Billam-Smith was working on the inside, he was pulling his hands out, shooting short shots to the body, throwing that nice little hook on the inside. It was a beautiful fight.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful fight.
Tony Diego says, what promotion is associated with Peacock? That was a Sky, wasn't it? That was Sky Sports. Who was the promotion?
It's Ben Shalom.
That's Boxer. It was Boxer, right?
Who runs Boxer? Yes,
I remember that. You told me that.
And I have to apologize to Robbie. He asked me yesterday if this fight was on Peacock, and I don't have.
You told him it was on Peacock.
I told him.
We said it last week.
Oh, you did? Because I checked this. I checked the schedule. I didn't see it on Peacock, and I don't have Peacock anymore. So
nobody's got Peacock anymore. All right, Ben Whittaker on the undercard of the Billam-Smith. Ben Whittaker versus Ezra Aranyeka. Whittaker wins a wide unanimous decision, 100-89, 99-91. I like Ben Whittaker a lot. He's entertaining. I think he's good. I don't know how good he is, though. He's got 9 or 10 fights now. And I'm fairly certain they're feeding. I mean, obviously they're feeding him, hand-picked opponents. Yeah. I don't know, but is there any real development here?
Well, this was his first 10-rounder yesterday. This was his 10th fight, I believe. This was an okay fighter, decent fighter, but the jury's out on him. I mean, he's not a huge puncher. I just don't know if he can play around like that against, upper level competition. I don't think he'll be able to get away with doing that. So
I think that's my thing too, is that with, I know he's trying to be like an Nassim copy, but Nassim could fight a little bit. He was very awkward, and he had punching power. He had freakish power.
He fought better fighters.
And he did fight better fighters, But again, he's 10-0. He's 10-0. He's early, so I get it. There's time to grow here.
He's very quick. He's very quick. Not a huge puncher, but he's quick. He's an accurate puncher. Places his shots well.
Yeah.
Great punch selection. When he hits you, he lands flush. So good body puncher, varied attack, right? It's not one-dimensional. So we'll see. I just need to see someone press him a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Somebody with any type of class that's not going to fall for the stuff he's doing. Kevin's Go says Ben is no drunken master. There you go. You got that right. A lot of fans in the UK. A lot of fans like him. A lot of them. Yeah, I think because he reminds them a lot of Nassim. Yeah, he's got a good personality. He's a personable guy. He's a good guy. Nice guy. Comes off as a nice guy. Yeah. You don't really like him though, do you, Beeb? I mean, you're throwing the nice guy routine at him and everything like that, and saying, "Oh yeah, hope he does well," but behind the scenes, you don't like him. Well, if I met him in person, I'd probably, sit down and have a nice dinner or whatever, Would you tell him all the things that you've said about him? To his face? Sure. Of course not. Kidding me?
Much more comfortable criticizing people behind their back.
Of course. I would say that to his face. Risk getting smacked up.
Yeah, right.
Pushing 60 here, man. Are you kidding me?
All right. Next week, June 21st, Las Vegas on ESPN Plus. Rafael Espinoza versus Sergio Chirino for Espinoza's WBO featherweight title. Andres Cortez versus Abraham Nova at 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Who is this? Floyd Diaz? That's got to be who is this?
Floyd Cashflow Diaz. That's the top rank, I believe.
Okay. Versus Francisco Pedroza Portillo, 8 rounds, bantamweights. Troy Isley versus Javier Martinez. Not great. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah.
It's a card, right?
Why was Floyd Diaz not picked up by Floyd Mayweather's TM?
Everybody leaves Mayweather. Like, no one stays with Mayweather.
Nobody. How about that? And then that's pretty much it until the following week where Teofimo fights Steve Claggett. Yeah.
Steve Claggett.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the phones here. Robert, 530, you're live.
Hello, guys. First of all, let me make a couple of corrections. I did know the fight was on Peacock.
Jesus Christ.
Hang on.
What do you mean corrections? You're not hired. You're not hired to be a producer on this show.
I don't know that he's hired.
Why do you think you're just going to barrel in here and make corrections?
Hello.
Okay, I'll go on your rant, and then I'll speak.
We just did.
Ben Whittaker is 8-0 with 5
Who
knockouts.
cares?
That was only his 8th fight yesterday.
We said it was his 9th fight. I think we would say it was his 9th or 10th fight.
No,
Who
you
cares?
said it was
Stop
10.
it.
So no.
Stop it.
Okay, that's number one.
So you went on Box Rec and we
didn't know
didn't.
it was on.
Sorry. Acting like
Okay.
you've been following the guy since he was 10. Get out of here.
Right? Yeah, how long have you followed Ben Whittaker for?
You didn't even watch the fight yesterday.
Did you even see the fight? Did you even see the fight?
Yes, I did. Yes,
How did you watch the fight?
Because once I
on his TV.
once I found out it was on once I found out it was on Peacock, I put it on Peacock yesterday.
Then why did you call me? Why did you call me and ask me if it was on Peacock if you already knew it was on Peacock?
Because Joe.
Now you're stuttering. Once you start stuttering, I know you're lying.
Oh, for God's
I caught you. I caught you again.
Let me know when you're done. Let me know when you're done.
From Boston.
First of all, the only thing I hate about Peacock is they put things on their schedule at the last minute. You can't look beforehand and find out what time it comes on. But once I found out the fights were on Peacock yesterday, I put it on. As far as Riakporhe Billam-Smith fight, Riakporhe just fought the wrong kind of fight. He basically fought Chris Billam-Smith's type of fight yesterday. You know, he didn't use his reach. He didn't use his height. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was wrong with him yesterday. And as far as Liam Paro is concerned, he put a beautiful game plan together yesterday, and basically told everybody in 140 that Subriel Matias is not the boogeyman that he was made out to be. And you know, his next fight will be his mandatory. By the way, if the information that they gave out on TV is correct, and sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. They said his mandatory would be Richards and Hitchens. So I guess that'll be his next fight.
You got all your be his mandatory.
You got all your picks. Well, they don't know if that's they don't know if that's going to be the next fight for sure. Stop putting the propaganda out there like you always do. First of all, you got all your picks. You got all your picks wrong this week. How do you feel? How do you feel? You got all your picks wrong this week.
No, I had a bad week as far as picks this week.
Yeah, I think you and everybody else.
How
much money did you lose, Robert? How much money did you lose?
I heard you lost a lot of money last week.
That's what I heard too. That's what I heard too.
You lost a lot of money yesterday. Is that true?
No, I did not.
Sarah called me up the other day and said,
I'm
"Beeb, can I borrow a couple $? Robbie lost the rent money on these fight spots yesterday." I told her, I'll write a check. I'll Western Union some cash over there.
Yeah.
You gotta put this guy. You gotta get on this guy. You know, don't allow this guy to just blow money like that. I mean, you've been buying a pay-per-view then you bought the Tank Davis pay-per-view, canceling another Applebee's visit.
No,
for
I
Mrs.
did
Harris.
not. No, I did not.
Did you buy the Tank pay-per-view?
No, I did not buy the pay-per-view.
I heard you bought the Tank pay-per-view.
That's what I heard too.
No.
Mrs. Herrick told me that you went into the Applebee's.
Why don't you
Applebee's.
just come clean? Yeah, what's
You went to the Apple's. She was going to take you to Applebee's for Father's Day today, but you took that money and spent it on that pay-per-view yesterday, and now she couldn't take you to Applebee's.
Hey, everybody in the chat. I know. I am not buying any pay-per-view unless Turkey Al-Sheikh has his name on.
Oh, now you're kissing Turkey Al-Sheikh's ass, please.
Oh, come on.
There you go. And speaking of Turkey, do you think the Tank Loma fight will be on one of the Saudi Arabia cards?
Turkey, this ain't Thanksgiving.
Like you're on a first name basis with this dude?
No, but seriously, do you think the
you call him His Excellency? First of all,
His Excellency.
His Excellency.
Yes, I agree.
Well, okay. But do you think that the Tank Loma fight will either be in October or December on that card?
Oh, you're asking do I think if it's gonna be a Saudi card?
Yeah, because I think that's the only way that fight will get made. I think Saudi has to.
No, I don't think that's the only way the fight gets made.
They're already talking. They're already talking.
It wouldn't shock me, but that's not the way. That's not the only way the fight gets made.
They're already talking, so I think the fight will get made, Robbie. I think it'll get made. There's no who else can Tank fight now? Who else can Tank fight?
I think Loma will beat Tank, and we'll finally see Tank Davis lose, which I'm looking forward to. I'm sick of that guy.
Wow! Why?
Jesus Christ!
What do you
ever do to you? What do you ever do to you, man?
He's doing the Floyd the Floyd Mayweather thing, hand picking his opponent.
So what?
I want to see the guy lose.
Hand picking? He's fighting like live people, man. He's fighting good guys. Frank Martin's not a good guy.
Well, but Frank Martin was handpicked by PBC because
Ryan
they
Garcia?
were in the same promotion.
So what? You didn't. I thought that was a good fight when it was made.
I thought it was too, but Ryan
Robbie,
Garcia.
Can I just say something, Robbie?
Let
me just say something, Robbie.
Okay.
We've had some great fights this year, and then we have people like you,
Yes,
Debbie Downers.
Debbie Downer.
Just want to complain about everything.
Yep.
First of all, Tank said yesterday that he has no problem fighting Lomachenko. He said he would fight anybody. And you don't even give the guy the benefit of the doubt, man.
No, you don't.
You don't take him at his word.
Nope.
Automatically, you call the guy a liar. And you have no basis to do
liar.
No,
calling him a liar, and you have no basis to do so. On Father's Day,
on Father's Day too.
Doing this on Father's Day.
What's the matter with you? I don't know if he's. I guess he's a father.
Robbie, I want to wish you a happy Father's Day.
I don't know.
Robbie, happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Just wish you didn't blow the Applebee's.
No, seriously, I want to see this guy lose eventually, and maybe Loma can pull that off.
It's cold-blooded, man.
I think he's honestly been protected, and it's about time for him to lose.
Protected? Stop.
Yep. Floyd Mayweather.
Who could he fight? Who could he fight? Yep. Who could he fight that can beat him right now? That he's ducked.
Loma can beat him.
That he's ducked.
I think Devin Haney can beat him.
Devin Haney got knocked clean by Ryan Garcia. Lost by a wide margin.
and Ryan Garcia is going to get suspended for PED.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Stop it. There was tainted supplements.
Robert, that fight was 2 months ago.
I don't want to.
That fight was 2 months ago, and he still hasn't been suspended yet. Get that off, please.
No, I'm leaving.
I know. Well, come to find out,
It's Pride Month.
the New York State Athletic Commission, who's supposed to hand out the suspension, they don't have a director to hand that out right now. The governor of New York has to appoint a new one.
You know they have someone
Stop.
that you know they have someone filling in right now. Stop pretending like you're in the office and you know what's going on. All right, they're not running things. They're not running things. They're not running things.
I don't know what your problem is today, Joe.
You act like you're a person in the know, and they're actually running procedure through you.
I agree with you, Robert. I don't know what Joe's problem is today. I don't know. I
don't know what his problem is today.
I don't get it.
You know what I'm mad, Robbie? You gave me you told me to bet on Riakporhe, and I took your advice and I lost because of you.
And I lost too on your advice, by the way.
Robbie,
yeah.
Well,
I lost some money
because
of you.
If the son of a bitch,
Whoa! You don't have to call him the son of a. Whoa!
You know,
I'm not going to go that far calling him that.
No, he didn't.
Oh, come on. All right, Robert, we're going to get running.
Jaya Pattaya will take care of Chris Billam-Smith. I'm not worried about that.
All right. Thank you, Robert. Let's see here. 718. I believe this is New York. 718, you're live.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Just asking you guys, what do you guys think
Is this guy underwater?
I don't know. Hey, New York, do me a favor. If we're gonna have to mute you here because we can't. You've got a bad connection.
You got a very bad connection.
So if you call back and try again.
Try back in.
All right, 773. I believe Chicago. You're live.
Oh, Kevin.
But tell you what, Frank the Tank, Tank the Frank the Tank. That's how that goes. What's that? Frank the Tank got knocked out.
I thought he did good
right?
for. I'll tell you what, he did good for the time he was in there. He did pretty good. But we seem to say that about a lot of Tank's opponents.
Yeah,
3 rounds.
He earned his money in the 3 rounds. He won.
yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? Frank Martin. People had some high hopes. He thought it was gonna be a good fight. Wasn't a good fight. I will say, Gvozdyk. He looked decent. Better showing than I expected. But I think people are giving a little bit Benavidez a hard time. They're kind of being a little bit too hard at him.
I think so too.
He won the fight clearly. I mean, it's not like he what Paulie Malignaggi said. I like what he said. He set a standard so high that they think he's going to go out and blow him out of the water every time, but can't do that every single fight. So I still think he's a tough matchup for any of them guys. Civil, Peterviev. It's going to be I don't know if he beats him, but I definitely think he's going to put give him a hard fight, and I'd like to see it. So I don't think the Canelo fight's happen. I just don't think. I don't think that Canelo wants any part of that.
No, I don't think he does either.
That's the next step forward. Now, Canelo, he's going to probably sail off in the sunset come here soon.
Yeah.
I probably got like 2 or 3 more fights, and I don't think Benavidez is going to be on that. Who else is fighting? Lomachenko, Davis. I think that's the obvious next step. It kind of sucks that Lomachenko was going to be, how old is he now? 36, 37, something like that. I don't know how old he is, but no excuses. They're going to get in there and fight. Can't use the age excuse. We're not going to do that. Let's go in there and have a good fight. 2 of the best, pound for pound talent. And I don't like to hear the age excuse. Let's just go see what happens,
Yeah.
Right, Beeb? How you
That's
doing,
right.
Beeb?
I'm doing good, man. How you been, man? Everything all
You're
right?
awfully quiet over there, Beeb.
I'm soaking up your knowledge.
Can't believe it, Buster.
I'm soaking up your knowledge,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
All right, Kevin.
Here.
We're going to get running, man. Thank you so much for the call. Let's go to 410 Baltimore. I am king of Baltimore. Jerry, 410, you're live.
Where the big bird? What's happening?
What's up?
What's going on, Jerry? What do you think of the Boston Celtics, man? Think they're going to close them out this week or what?
I'm going to give you a pass on the wrong picks this week because, like you said, they were upset. Nobody seen them coming. Gary Antoine, I like him. I like his style. Boxing needs fighters like him, but a little bit too much hype. Matias, same thing. I try to tell people, man, don't put the cart ahead of the wagon. These guys look good when they're overmatched. Let's see what they can do as their competition increases. And we seen last night. So upsets, they can be good for boxing. Tank Davis did what he did. One of the safest bets in boxing is Tank Davis by second half KO. That's what he does. He gets in there, he gets outboxed, he sets his traps, he looks for ways to land his power punches, and then he gets you out of there. Now, one advantage he has over a lot of fighters is he doesn't have to worry about losing the decision. You could see in that fight last night, he wasn't concerned at all with building up points and winning rounds because he wasn't about to lose it. They said after the fight, they had him up. He was up a point or two when that fight. There's no fucking way he was up. I had Frank Martin winning the first 6 rounds.
I had it 4-3. Yeah, I had it 4-3. I had him winning the first 2, Tank the third, I think, and Martin winning 2 more after that. But no, I don't think Martin was winning all those rounds. I think the pressure, you could tell the pressure was getting to him. And even though Tank was like, it became, Tank wasn't following him anymore. He was chasing him at that point.
Yeah, I mean, of course the pressure, but still got to land. You got to land the punches, and he was getting outworked. And Frank Martin was getting his shots off first, and he was landing. He was landing pretty good shots. It looked as though Tank Davis was letting him do it to a degree, and he said in the post-fight interview that he wanted to let him punch himself out of it. I get that, but there's no fucking way he was ahead. But there they had him ahead. So Tank Davis has an advantage over a lot of fighters, especially being a knockout puncher, that he's not going to lose a decision. He's just not. Even if they got to rob some poor bastard, they'll do it. So you could see in that fight, and his coach told him after the 6th round, we need all the rest of the rounds. Yeah. We need them all.
Yeah.
And so he came out and he won the 7th. That was the first round I gave him. And then, of course, in 8th, he got the job done. He's a hell of a puncher, Tank Davis. I'm still a bit of a critic of his resume in that, he's avoided the top guys when they were the top guys. When Devin Haney, Tank fights at 135. Devin Haney had all 4 belts and the lineal belt. He had all of them. You're calling yourself the champ and the face of the boxing division. This guy's got every one of the belts. Any time to fight him would have been then, and he didn't. And guess what? He's not going to fight Lomachenko, man. That's a pipe dream. He got to make that fight. Lomachenko's a long-time top-ranked fighter, and Lomachenko hasn't cashed many big checks. He's at the end of his career. He's going to want good money to fight Tank Davis, and PBC has shown they're not going to pay big money to some out-of-house fighter. There's no getting options on Loma because he's too old. So it's not like he's going to come over there and sign a 3-5 date fight deal. It's not going to happen. That fight's not going to happen. You might have a better chance of him fighting Shakur Stevenson because, frankly, I don't think Bob Arum's going to re-sign Shakur Stevenson.
That's interesting. Yeah, that could, and that's a possibility.
That's true.
That's a possibility.
If he does, he's going to have to take a pay cut.
Hey, Jerry, let me ask you. Now you're in Baltimore. How popular is Tank in Baltimore locally over there?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's real popular here, He had a nice, healthy crowd there at the MGM last night. He's not the star that they say, like they want to try to promote him, but that's how they try to promote him. But he's a lot more popular than most guys,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he's exciting. He's an exciting fighter to watch. Well, and the fucking power. I've never seen a guy at 135 punch quite like him. Duran is about the only one I can think of. But I would actually edge Tank in the one-punch KO power. I mean, if he hits you, man, you would just see. When he hit Martin with that uppercut, that was all she wrote. That follow-up shot was just, butter on the bread. But I mean, that uppercut, it was just fucking devastating.
Yeah, it caught him out of nowhere.
He can be outboxed in the. Yeah, he didn't see it coming. And I understand Martin. In the interview, the post-fight interview, he said, I did go into the corner because I was trying to save my legs a little bit because he did a lot of moving, he did a lot of punching, and even though he's a very fit fighter, he was fucking getting a little tired. You can understand. So I understand his strategy. The problem is with Tank Davis, you don't get too many chances. If he clocks you once, and that second right hand was so quick, man. He got that shot off so quick.
Yeah.
And Martin was defenseless to it. And so, but I thought Martin fought a good fight up to that point. Yeah. I thought he had a good game plan. If he'd had a little bit more pop, things may have worked out differently. Lastly, Benavidez. For as big as Benavidez was at 168, he didn't look so big in there against another light heavyweight, did he? He looked like he might have been a little bit smaller than his opponent last night. My point is, he was big at 168, and he's not a chump, puny dude at 175, but you could see in there, he didn't look too big against that guy. That guy's a good fighter, very solid, a little bit hittable, and lacks a little power. If he would have had a little bit more power, that fight might have been an upset too, because he was hitting David, and after the sixth round, David slowed down for whatever reason. For whatever reason, he started looking like he was a little gassed carrying that extra weight. So they were wise to put him in against a guy like that before they try to put him in with Bivol or Beterbiev, I think.
There you go. All right, Jerry, we're going to get running, man. So, thank you so much, man. And he brought up some good points here. I was interested to see how they view Tank in Baltimore, because I tell you, honestly, like in Cincinnati, it's not really a huge fight town. So like people like Adrian Broner, not really. I mean, you'll see him every now and then on the news, but he's not like. But even when Aaron Pryor was a champion over here, he really wasn't that popular. You know what I mean? It's just not a fight town.
What about Kelly Pavlik?
He's from Akron, wasn't he? I believe he was from Akron or something like that. He was out that way. Like Ray Mancini, that I couldn't even speak for like Akron, but like Ray Mancini, stuff like that. I think he was fairly popular over there. And even in Cleveland, like Toledo, Robert Easter was fairly popular. But Ohio's not really a big fight town. They're a good amateur town. Cincinnati's a good amateur town. Where a lot of prospects come out of here and stuff like that, and a lot of good fighters come out of here. But as far as like that public support that you get, they don't really get that here.
What happened to Robert Easter? He hasn't fought in a while.
I think that's it. I think he's probably going to be retired.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. Hopefully he kept his money. I mean, I'm sure he made quite a bit of money. I mean, hopefully he kept it and
hope so.
Doing his thing. Who knows? All right, let's talk about the news and rumors here. Your boy Beeb. Leonard Ellerbe is out at Mayweather Promotions. Eric Schaefer back in or just in? Now, didn't Eric Schaefer, wouldn't Schaefer with the one? Richard Schaefer. Wasn't he the one working there before?
Golden Boy.
That's right. He worked at Golden Boy, then went to PBC, and now he's at Mayweather. Yeah. Good move for Mayweather. Who does he have there? I mean, honestly, who doesn't have anybody?
He doesn't get any fighters, then it's not going to matter. But now Ellerbe was just there because he was like a kind of a childhood friend or whatever, but he wasn't really doing much. Now, if Schaefer does get in there and start snapping some sticks and gets on the ball, he can get some things done. But who knows? Does Schaefer still have those connections that he had back in the day? I don't know.
Yeah. Dante says Robert Easter was shot. I don't think he fought since. I think you're right. In fact, I think he was shot in Cincinnati. Up here by the casino. Right. That's right. He was shot up here. And I guess he was wearing like all this jewelry or whatever. And I guess they robbed him and shot him or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But I don't think he's fought since. I think you're right. And I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was in Cincinnati.
Yeah. So Richard Schaefer really hasn't done anything significant in a long time in the sport of boxing. So
no, he really hasn't. And even when he started Schaefer Promotions or whatever, when he got back in, he still wasn't.
Yeah, he was doing some managerial work and he was working with Pro Bellum and stuff, and then they had that big issue with what's that guy's name there? That guy in boxing that had that issue with he's supposed to be a drug trafficker or some stuff like that. What was his name there? He was involved with MTK Global, that guy, and then I guess
Callahan.
Yeah. So now they were trying to say, like, I guess Pro Bellum went out of business, and that was a company that Richard Schaefer was working with. So I don't know. We'll see, man. Hopefully he can rekindle that magic that he had in Golden Boy. If he could do that same thing with Mayweather Promotions, then maybe they got a chance.
Mayweather Promotions really hasn't amounted to much.
Yeah,
honestly, it never.
What do they have? They have Rolly Romero. Who else do they have?
Well, they don't have, they don't have Tank anymore. So yeah. So was there? And I didn't hear anything more to this other than LRB's out and Schaefer's in, but. Was there any? I wonder if there was any fallout or anything like that with Mayweather and.
Leonard Ellerbe was being interviewed over the weekend, and they asked him point blank, "Are you out of Mayweather Promotions?" And he said no. And then a couple hours later, that tweet came up.
Yeah, it sure did, didn't it? Yeah, it sure did. Yeah. So I remember reading that too. Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. David Abanesian replaces Cody Crowley to fight Boots Ennis on that Philadelphia card. Good
card.
I think it's good. I think either fight was good. Cody Crowley was a good fight.
Yeah.
A good opponent for him, and then David Abanesian's a good opponent for him also.
Abanesian's good, man.
Yeah, he's fairly good.
Solid.
Carmel Montana and NBA Youngboy's son are at Mayweather Promotions. Carmel Montana's pretty good. He's got a lot of up-and-comers up there. NBA Youngboy's son are at Mayweather Promotions. There you go.
Okay.
I don't know who NBA Youngboy's son is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that's his. I want to say his in-law, but I don't think they're married.
Yeah,
he's married to his daughter. I think they just had.
I think they have a kid together.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
And Turkey Al-Sheikh, His Excellency Beeb.
His Excellency.
That's how we refer to him here on Ringside.
Alhamdulillah, man.
Alhamdulillah. That's right. Is looking to establish a fight league. And from what I read, he wants to buy the promotions, Top Rank, Matchroom, Golden Boy, and get all those fighters under the same contract, and then they're going to fight each other. I love it.
I don't hate it.
Have I been saying this for years?
We've been hoping for something like this.
I've been saying it for years. I want you to give me dap. Say it.
You've been saying it for years, Eric. You're a visionary.
It's true. It's very true. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And make it like the UFC. You know what I mean? Is there anything better than that? Would that be a dream come true?
That would be a dream come true.
What are the cons? Honestly.
Well, if you think
tons
about
of pros,
it,
but what are the cons?
If you think about it, all these super cards that we're having this year, courtesy of Turkey Al-Sheikh, is because he's brought all these promoters. Like, you look at these cards and you look at how many promoters are involved in these cards. There's like 4 or 5 promoters on each of these cards. So he's been able to make people come together. So now if he could do this on a consistent basis for just about all the cards and not just some of the cards, then that's going to be something special. Right?
Yeah. Tony Yayo says it's good for American excellence if some Saudi dude runs boxing. Yes, absolutely. Listen, all we want is to see the fights we want to see. That's it. That's all we want. Don King cards constantly. Only 200 fighters, though, right? Seems like a lot of fighters will be frozen out. Listen, there's going to be cards all the time. I would imagine there'll be cards all the time. And, really, if he took the main guys and they wanted, like, say, keep the promotions or whatever, say like Top Rank could promote like the undercard guys and have them promote those guys. You know what I mean? The other guys are already promoted.
Just have everybody working a unit.
Together.
As a unit.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah, this is interesting too. Tony, I hope Trump blocks Turkey Al-Sheikh. I don't think that would happen because Trump's a boxing fan.
A lot of people complaining about Saudi, right? And I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but everyone's got an iPhone that was made in China. we have all these products that we have that we own that are made in China.
Walmart, 90% China.
Yeah. So
products.
and no one, I'm not going to get into the politics of it all, but
yeah,
if I go into the history of China, it is what it is. I'm not going to get deep into that, but
I always love it. Yeah.
If you own an iPhone, then you really can't complain about fights taking place in Saudi Arabia, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Reese Mack says you can talk to Trump. We've tried. We've actually tried. And we'll be trying again unless he's under house arrest. I heard he's going to get under. I heard that's going to be the deal.
We'll get him on. We'll get Trump on eventually.
Yeah, we could try. I think we can interview him. I really do. I know it sounds crazy, but I really do think we can interview him.
I think you can get him.
I think I can too.
He does a lot of rallies. He does a lot of rallies in Ohio, man.
That's where we tried to get him, man. That's where we tried to get him. But the one time it was on his first go around, he came through here and I applied for tickets for like credentials, and I got them a half hour after the rally started. They were so unorganized then. So hopefully he's a little bit more organized now. But I'm sure we can get press credentials for that.
If you pulled out your phone and said, "Can I get a quick word, Mr. President?" he would talk to you for about 10 minutes.
Absolutely. He loves boxing. He's a big boxing guy, man, for sure. Dante, yes, he said, let's get that Trump prison interview. Trump loves to sell arms to Saudis, not blocking anyone. Hey, I'll tell you what. And you know how, listen, man, if voting for Trump would lead to Turkey al-Sheikh, this unification, I would do it in a heartbeat. Absolutely. I don't care. As long as, I would do it. Would you vote for Trump if that's what it meant?
Voting for Trump anyways.
Oh, wow. There you go. Yeah, Trump loves Don King. Loves it. Now, hopefully my wife doesn't hear this podcast, and I won't be sleeping on the couch tonight.
My wife doesn't hear this podcast either. She won't let you talk to me anymore.
Oh, my gosh. All right, guys. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. Catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1. RingsideReporterLive.com is our YouTube channel, and you can find me on X at Ringside73. Guys, have a great Father's Day, and we will see you next week.